Are you ready?
Join on a corner where the big boys play.
Well, hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ask StreamYard. This is a live Q&A show that we do each week, actually every single week at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I am your host and your live stream mentor, Melanie Dyann Howe. Super excited to be with y'all today. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful new year and everybody's ready to go. Hopefully you're getting back into the swing of things this week. I know for me, it's been kind of an interesting week getting back into the swing of things. I'm always really rejuvenated at the beginning of the year. I'm not really a New Year's resolution type of person. However, I am one of those people that just kind of likes like an opportunity or an excuse, I guess, to reset. Right. So I do actually like things like New Year, new school year starting. I have a daughter. So whenever her new school year starts, it kind of always feels the same way. It's kind of just a nice excuse to like, okay, let's go. So super excited to help you all today talk about some of the latest features that have been released from StreamYard. Now, we're not going to be announcing any new features today. So hopefully you all didn't think that that was what this show was about. I'm sure that it kind of felt that way a little bit, but I want to make sure you all are understanding some of the latest features and actually leveraging them and how they can actually help you make better live streams. So that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. But before we jump into any of that, I always got to check in on everybody and see how everybody's doing. Dale says StreamYard is truly international. Yes, it actually is international now. We actually are now available in multiple languages. In fact, to be specific, all the languages: German, Italian, French, Thai, Portuguese, Spanish, Vietnamese, Japanese, and they are always expanding even further. So hello, SmackDown Outdoors. Duck, gray duck. Well, good morning to you. So we have all kinds of awesome people here. We got Brandon's here. Hello. Video for Bosses. It's always great to see you returning for another live show, watching from Great Britain. I absolutely love it when y'all come back and keep coming back for more. That's one of my favorite things, is getting to know the audience. And so one of the things I love about live video and being consistent with live video, which is what this show is. We are literally live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons why having that consistent strategy, one of the best reasons, is your audience is going to get to know that cadence and that schedule, and they're going to show up. And that's one of the most rewarding parts, in my opinion, of live video, is that you can actually get to know your audience. So I always love seeing people like Video for Bosses and, oh my gosh, like Dale Bishop. He's been here. SmackDown Outdoors has been here. We've got all kinds of people. Mike from Never Let the Machine Win, of course, is always here every week, week after week. So many of you are, of course, this is not your first time watching, but if it is your first time hanging out with us, welcome to Ask StreamYard. Again, this is a show where it's basically live Q&A. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about some of the newest features. I'm going to make sure you know how to use them. I'm going to do some demos, but also we're going to talk about why you should be using them in your live videos in 2022 to make better live videos. That's what we're here for, right? And so normally what we do is we'll take a question that comes from our community. So there's a couple of things I want to make sure you're aware of. First of all, again, if you're not part of our Facebook group, definitely make sure you go over there and join that Facebook group. We are currently live streaming into that Facebook group. We're also live streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and our regular Facebook page, and Twitter actually as well. But this community is incredible. Many of you are in the community, but if you're not already in the community, hop on over to Facebook. Make sure you search Facebook or StreamYard community. You will see it right there. Join the community because it's a great place to ask questions and to get support, to get help from other streamers, to get help from other StreamYard users, StreamYard teammates. I'm in there helping people sometimes. So make sure you're part of that, because if you are trying to look and figure out how to do something new, or you're not sure how to use a certain feature, or maybe you even just need some feedback on your stream or your background or your set, this is a great community where you will get that kind of support that you need. So definitely hop over there and join that community. And of course, if you do want to be featured on our Ask StreamYard show, usually what we'll do is we will take a question submitted by a user in that group typically, and we will basically take a deep dive on it, right? But honestly, to kick off the new year, I really wanted to take this opportunity to make sure everyone is aware of these latest features that were released in the last couple of months and that you're utilizing them correctly. And also last week when Christian and we did our live Q&A version where we just sort of like answered whatever questions came up, which holy cow, everybody totally showed up with questions. We weren't able to answer all of them, but there were a lot of questions around some of these new features. And so that's one of the reasons what we wanted to kind of do this show and use it as an opportunity to support you in that. I'm really excited. Next week, actually, we are going to, I will not be hosting next week's show. I'm actually going to be speaking at an event that StreamYard is sponsoring. It's called Expand Your Reach. It's being put on by the live streaming pros. Many of you know of the live streaming pros, Luria Petrucci, and she's hosting a virtual summit, and StreamYard is a sponsor. And I'm also presenting at that event. So next Wednesday, I have been able to be fortunate that we are going to have our very own Julie Riley hosting our Ask StreamYard show. And we're also going to have a special guest, Desiree Martinez, which many of you know who Desiree is as well. So they're going to be talking next week on the Ask StreamYard show, giving you help with creating a content strategy for 2022. So definitely going to be a great show next week as well. We'll be back to our regular show kind of style the week after that. So definitely so many things going on. But before I jump in any more further, I have one more announcement, of course. Want to make sure. Speaking of, by the way, did y'all see that Lori is going to be on our StreamYard channel tomorrow as well? She's actually going to be sharing her 5 live video strategies for 2022. She and I have been talking about this, and she's got some really interesting insights that she's going to be sharing with all of us so that we can be set up for success in 2022. So January has a lot going on. We are absolutely going to be making sure that we're creating content this month that's going to help you set out to have an amazing 2022 with your live videos. Whether you're just getting started and you've never gone live before, or you've been going live for years and you're just ready to take things to the next level, we are definitely going to be sharing content. Again, this show's all about using the latest features. Lori is going to come on tomorrow and talk about her predictions. Desiree and Julie are going to talk to us next Wednesday about content strategy. But then also, just so you all are aware, we also have our own StreamYard Summit coming up. Our next quarterly summit is coming up, the StreamYard Connect Summit. It's on Thursday, January 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And you can go to StreamYard.com/SY Connect to get registered for that event. Again, you do have to be registered for that particular event in order to have access. This will be our 3rd quarterly summit that we've done. And we have Sean Cannell with the Think Media team. They are a keynote speaker. We've got other speakers lined up for you as well, helping you just set out for an amazing 2022. So January from StreamYard, we're hooking you up. We're going to come around. We're going to make sure that you are going to be set up for success this year. And I'm super excited about it. Super excited to be starting a new year with this amazing team, this amazing application, the best live streaming application, in my opinion. But that's my humble opinion. And that's why I'm here. So super excited. All right, everybody, let me make sure I'm checking in on the comments before we jump in to our features. I'm going to go through a few of the features. Again, what I mentioned was that I'm going to do a little bit of some tutorial stuff, but also make sure that you're utilizing these things certainly as strategically as possible. So we got Alvin from Singapore. Well, hello, Alvin. I'm super excited to have you here. I think you've tuned in with us before. We have our wonderful Jennifer Tislerics back again. Super excited to see you here live. It's always good to have you live with us in the comments. So I want to Boulder Guy's lava lamp. The lava lamp. So I have 2 lava lamps. And just so you know, that lava lamp right there, it takes like 2 hours to warm up. And I literally just came downstairs. I was working upstairs earlier and I came downstairs and flipped the light on, and I gotta remember to get that thing going sooner so that it gets set up a little bit earlier so that it actually is getting, it's actually floating around. So certainly want to make sure that we're all here. So Pioneering Markets, hello. Thank you for joining us as well. Again, all kinds of people joining us today. Super excited. We've got Garden State Gardener. Hello, everyone, they say. Super excited about it. Okay, so let's see here. I want to make sure I don't have any initial questions. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through some of these features one by one. And if you have a question, I want you to go ahead and post it, but post it with a Q. Post it with a Q in front of it. That will help me find your question and answer it, of course. Now, if you have a feature request, which I know it seems like every time we talk about features or things with StreamYard, y'all have great ideas and I love them and I love hearing them, but that we don't really talk about feature requests in this show. We're not really collecting feedback from this particular show. The best place for you to get your feature request heard is to go over to StreamYard.com/contact. You'll see a link for you to fill out a form over there on that page. So that's where you want to go for your feature requests. Okay, let's get going. I am super excited that we're going to do this. So, Okay, this is exciting. Sorry, I had to share this. So Jennifer says, I convinced my colleagues to host a symposium on StreamYard in March because the slide sharing is so much easier for presenters now. Well, Jennifer, that happens to be one of our latest features that we are going to be talking about today. So I definitely want to make sure that we're going to be chatting about that for everybody so that y'all know that that's there. Because I think a lot of times people don't realize that all these features are available. So we're going to get going on that. Okay, here we go. So let me get caught up here. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so it's not necessarily, I am definitely going to, Wisco Ted, I love that. What's everyone's favorite new feature? Mine is hotkeys. Totally agree. Hotkeys is awesome. We actually talked about hotkeys the last time we did a feature roundup and you can find that link in the description, I believe, of this is Christian and I did like a 3-hour stream and we went through all those features that were released in the fall. The late summer and then the early fall, there were a ton of features released, hotkeys being one of them. So we chatted about that and it was pretty awesome. So, okay, let's see here real quick. So Mike's auto detailing. Will StreamYard be iPad friendly? I like to use Chrome on iPad. So here's what's, this is another one of those things. Yes, it's been iPad friendly forever. It's actually very friendly on iPad. So you can use Chrome, but Safari does work best on the iPad. You just have to go to StreamYard.com on your iPad and it will work almost exactly like it does on your desktop computer. Same with an iPhone, an Android device. They do work on Android devices as well. So just go to StreamYard.com. It is mobile friendly, which is fantastic. So it is iPad friendly already. It will not, you cannot share your screen. That is a limitation with the mobile devices, of course. So you can't share a screen, but you can certainly use all the other features like displaying comments, clicking on banners, showcasing banners, clicking on any overlays you have in your StreamYard dashboard. What I always tell people is maybe use the computer to get everything set up, like uploading your overlays, your backgrounds, any of those types of things. And then on your iPad, all those overlays and graphics will be in your studio and you can have them ready to go. So set your stream up in your on your computer, but then when you go live mobily, you'll be good to go. Everything will be right there. It looks just the same. Everything's the same. So it's all pretty much, it's like 90% identical to what it's like on a computer. So, okay. All right, here we go. So I'm going to definitely put up a quick banner. Cindy, just so you know, she says, can you post a playback link? All of our live streams, so this is live today, right now, all of our live streams remain on our channel. So the best place is you can actually watch on our on our Facebook page. If you go to the videos tab, you'll see our past live streams there, or you can also watch any of them on YouTube. So we have playlists set up on our YouTube channel, but if you don't see a particular one, it could be hiding. Maybe it's an older video. Just go to the uploads tab and you will see all of our videos that we have uploaded, including all those amazing tutorials. So a lot of really good stuff going on over there on the YouTube channel. A lot of really great tutorial tips, tutorial videos. In fact, some videos about some of these features have been released as well to help you make sure you're utilizing them correctly. So, okay. All right, here we go. This is, we are going to check this out. Okay. I'm actually using one of our new features right now to put a queue together. So here's what I got. All right, let's do this. Today, we are going to be talking about all of these newest features in StreamYard. And this is, of course, the goal is to help you make better videos in 2022. One of the things that StreamYard is very focused on is maintaining that the platform is easy to use, but also that features are being created for you so that you can be a better live video, host, a live video creator, live video producer. And then, of course, your audience will have these amazing videos that you're producing, these professional videos that are just basically quite a step above just grabbing your phone and going live. So definitely a firm believer in grabbing your phone and going live, but at the same time, why not use an application like StreamYard that'll allow you to make amazing live videos? So our features that we're going to be talking about today, the first one I want to talk about is one of the newest features is actually one that everybody's pretty pumped about and people have been asking for a long time. And that's our brand new crop solo layout with Wallpaper. So this crop solo layout, some of you maybe have seen it. You've maybe seen Dan Engage showcase it on the town hall on Sunday evenings. Maybe you've seen, if you're part of our StreamYard community and on Facebook, maybe you've seen people post about it, but maybe you're not really sure how this works. So I will tell you right now, we are not in the crop solo layout. Basically, solo layout is one person is on screen. And when one person's on screen, by default, you will fill the entire screen. And so if you have a custom background, it's not going to show up when you're on screen. The only time it's going to show up is when you share your screen or share slides, in that particular mode, like such. So right now, I just shared my screen, which is Canva, of course, and I can go to different layouts here, and you do see the background when that's visible. But when it's just me on screen, no background is visible. A lot of people really wanted to have, a frame that was kind of around them to kind of crop them in to just create a different look. And so StreamYard has now added the option for you to, in your solo layout, to be cropped in. But it's not by default. So in the bottom of your studio, you have all your layout options. By default, it is going to actually be set to fill the whole screen. And so what's really important here is that you know how to make that change if you want to. So really quickly, what I've got here is a quick tutorial video that I recorded. I hear dogs barking outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm not gonna let it distract me. We're gonna do this. We're going to do this. Okay, so here we go. So the solo layout, you're actually going to need to go into your studio. So when you log into StreamYard, you have your account settings. And then when you actually go to a stream, before you enter the studio, you also have settings there, your camera settings, your microphone settings, even your hotkeys and your virtual background. Those are the only settings available to you. But when you enter the studio, you actually have a settings tab at the very bottom and at the very right. So that is actually how you are going to make this change into your this crop solo layout. So let's look and see how this is done. Okay, let me turn this banner off. Okay, here we go. Let me start that over. Let me try that again without the banner at the bottom so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, here we go. So again, here we are, full layout. Go down at the bottom. You will see right there, layouts is now an option, and you need to check mark that if you want the cropped solo layout. Now you can't toggle between them in the studio. You have to change it in the settings. So if you want to go back, you'll just simply need to go back to your layouts and uncheck that setting. And that is how you'll use the cropped setting layout. So, the crop setting layout, I will turn it on right now, looks like this. So as you notice, it didn't crop my camera in. It simply just made my webcam feed smaller. So that is only going to apply in the solo layout. So that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to make sure everyone knew the differentiator of. So when I now go to share my screen again, it's going to just go right back to the other view. And then when I go back to solo view, I'm cropped in. So this is a setting that's on or off. And so if you don't want it on, you have to make sure it's unchecked. And if you want to go back and forth, you have to go into those settings as I just showed you to toggle it on and off. Now, one thing I want to talk about that good video bosses. She said, we can't hear the dogs. Okay, good. Fantastic. That's great. So here's the deal. SmackDown Out There says, I'm pumped for this layout. There were a lot of people that they were like, well, what's the point of the layout? Why do we use it? Why do we need it? This is a great opportunity for you to add some extra branding to your stream on screen, okay, without having to do an overlay, which an overlay you could create a frame like you see around me, which a lot of you have done, and you could have uploaded that as an overlay, which would have overlaid over your webcam feed. However, it would have cropped in your webcam. And so a lot of people didn't want that, but they wanted to have some options and some opportunity for some branding. The other thing that it does is it leaves more room for comments. As you notice here down below, SmackDown Outdoors, this comment is here. If I have a longer comment, then I'm going to put this one up. longer comments tend to kind of come in and cover you up. So if you do tend to want to display a lot of comments, display your banners, and you don't want it to come over you in your webcam feed, then this cropped layout might be a great option for you. Now, if you're not on one of our paid plans, your cropped layout is going to look like this. You're going to have the default StreamYard background that's going to show up, but you still can use this cropped layout. If you are on one of our paid plans, you can upload a custom background, which is what I want to talk about next. So again, whenever you have the opportunities to essentially create extra brand awareness, have some extra, sparkle, some customization to your content, you are standing out from the very busy newsfeed of our social media platforms. Also, it's just another way for people to kind of have that connection with you, right? And so I'm a big fan of things like using the logo in the corner, using your custom colors to match your brand. Now, if you don't really have a brand and you're just sort of streaming, then maybe start to think about picking a couple of colors that you find that you love and use them consistently in your streams. Maybe just create a little logo that could be just your face or just your name, using a tool like Canva or Easel or some of the other applications out there that make it very easy. Adobe Spark being another one that make it very easy to design graphics. But let's talk a little bit about a little bit of a strategy here of how we might design a background with this cropped layout in mind. And that's really what I want to talk about with you about today is essentially how we can actually design something and make it look correct. Okay. Because there's a key to that. So here's what I recommend you do. I recommend you go into your StreamYard studio, turn on your camera, don't go live, and just do the crop layout and then take a screen capture of your preview window. Now, if you're using a certain application, I use a snipping tool on my PC, which allows me to just draw a custom box, and I can literally just draw around that particular preview window. You can also just do a print screen, and it's going to do the whole screen, and then you can, of course, crop it in. So then I suggest you upload it into your favorite design tool where you're designing overlays and all those fun things. I'm turning down my volume because I guess my Discord is open somewhere. I don't know where it is and it keeps making noises. So sorry about that if you heard those little beeps that were happening. So I'm going to show you Canva. I'm going to do this in Canva. So let's go back to my shared screen. And in here, we are going to use this screen grab that I already did. So I'm going to actually add it. Well, let's do this. Yeah. So let's start with a blank page. Okay. Let's start with a blank design just because we can. And then I'm going to go to my uploads and I'm going to grab that screen capture. Okay. It's just an image. Make sure it's centered. I'm going to make it go all the way to the full size of this window. And by the way, the size that you want to design at is 1280 by 720 or the 1920 by 1080. Just depends on how you're wanting to do that, designing your overlays. I personally suggest you go with the 1920 by 1080 layout, especially if you are on a professional plan and you're streaming out to 1080. So here we go right here. So we're in here. I have just made this full size. Now I basically can design around this webcam view because you wouldn't want to design a background and then you go to the layout and all of a sudden your words were too low and they got covered up or your design got covered up. So I certainly like using this. This is actually what I recommend you do when you're designing your overlays as well for the exact same reason. So, okay, here we go. So what we want to do here is I can't really design it. It's going to be difficult to design with this thing. It's kind of distracting, right? So what I recommend you do is go up to Canva and make that image transparent so that it's just ever so visible in the background. Now you can create a graphic on top of it and you'll actually be able to see what's going on here. So you can do two things here. You can start by designing a graphic and give it a try and then decide if it's going to work. Let's add some text in here. Let's see. Post questions with a Q. Oops. I'm just honestly picking something really random. You can do whatever you want. If you're featuring something specific, then you can absolutely put whatever you want in here. I'm just going to put it right here. We'll just see what that looks like, right? Now, I'm going to grab this I'm going to paste it on here. Oh, uh-oh. It looks like if I were to leave it like this, that my text would not be visible because my webcam would cover it up. So what do we need to do? Well, we're going to just simply move it on up. And so now I'm going to test this again by dragging my little transparent overlay here into the spot. And as you can see, it's going to look okay. Now my questions are going to be behind it as well. So I probably should make those smaller. So let's go ahead and make those a little bit smaller. And we'll pull those over here. And we'll go ahead and try it again. Yeah, I think that's going to look great. Oops, my logo is going to be in the way though. So why don't I just go ahead and move this again? Let me move that question down here and then boom. So here we are. So this is, again, I'm just kind of throwing this together really fast so that you guys can see what's going on here. So here we go. This is the layout that we're going to use. I'm going to now delete my little, screen grab overlay, and we're going to simply just download this as an image, and I'm going to download it and save it over to my computer. Winter Fox says, can we use it for free? So Canva is free, yes, and you absolutely can do almost all the amazing things that I'm showing you for free. But I highly recommend the paid version because there are some amazing features available on the paid version, like background remover, which I use all the time when I design thumbnails. Okay, and you can also export files in transparent PNG, which are great for creating overlays for your live streams. Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to upload it so you guys can see this in action, what we're looking at here. So I see a lot of people are fans of the paid version of Canva in our comments. So, okay, now I'm going to upload this into my background section of StreamYard. And I feel like, oh, where did I save it? Da, 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 da. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I have it saved. I didn't actually save it the first time, unfortunately. Oh, no wonder. Okay. I've got this. I promise. I got this coming for y'all. I'm going to get my life in order here. I downloaded it as the wrong kind of file, so it wasn't showing up. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, now I'm going to be able to show you this custom background in action. Again, I basically took the existing background that we use for our Ask StreamYard show, and I just added a little extra because I know it's going to be able to be visible when I'm in this cropped layout for in our StreamYard studio. So I'm going to upload this to our backgrounds right now. And as I'm doing that, going to I'm so glad. Sometimes I get a little off. Live demonstrations can be tricky, everybody. I mean, seriously, it can be tricky. You're trying to do something and then it's like, something isn't where you thought it was going to be. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's happening? So, okay, so Rob is asking a good question. Does anyone have a template in Photoshop with frames for 3 hosts? So Rob, I have seen this done. I've seen people provide like layouts and stuff. I personally do not have those. What I would recommend is, Rob, over on our Facebook, I know you're watching on LinkedIn, go to our Facebook community and do a search, because I feel like if you do a search or ask that question in there, somebody's actually going to be able to provide you with the templates if they have them. The other thing you can do is the workaround is what I did, which is essentially to get yourself on screen, grab your phone and join it as a guest, and then maybe join it as a guest again in another, and you'll get 3 boxes up, and you could do a screen grab and do what I did. That's actually a workaround as well. Put that into Photoshop and then create your own little template from there. That's definitely something that you might try. It's a really interesting thought, actually. I'm going to save that one for later. I don't know if you guys know this, but in our Facebook community, if you go to the pinned post, each month, StreamYard is providing free graphic assets. So like, the duck that flies across the screen, and like this one. there's fireworks, there's puddles that flies across the screen. These are all being provided to you all for free, including the confetti. So a lot of fun graphic assets, but I wonder if maybe we could work on some Canva templates or some Photoshop templates that we could provide to everybody too for designing around these types of things. But for now, I just do a screen capture and it works out really, really well. So let's take a look at this and see what it looks like in action. All right, here we go. Let me see. I got to change it. Okay, it's going to change. Ready? Okay, so this is the background, okay, that we just created in Canva. And it looks great. You can see that there it is. I was able to customize the text, put it up there. Now, you might be saying, well, Mel, why don't you just use the banners in StreamYard to put that up? In fact, a lot of times I will actually run this ticker across the bottom of the stream. The reason I like you maybe using this additional real estate is because it's going to stay up. You don't have to worry about clicking the banner, clicking off the banner. And then, of course, when I display comments, another thing that might happen is it's going to just take up more space, right? And so having this real estate now available to you, you should use it. And so that's actually one of the things that I wanted to make sure everybody thinks about when it comes to this cropped layout is it's not just here so that it's a different look. It's here so that you can take advantage of the extra real estate around you. And so maybe for branding, maybe just for fun, I mean, you can essentially upload any image you want into your backgrounds if you're on one of our paid plans, and you can have this custom background. But I also like the real estate for you to maybe have a call to action, something else, maybe you don't love the way that looks and you want it to look different. You could say, Melanie Dyann Howe, like right up here, and then not turn this on. You can turn that off in StreamYard. So maybe that's what you want. So it gives you just another opportunity to create your own custom look for your streams. And so I definitely wanted to make sure that everybody saw that, knew that that was there. And I wanted to kind of give you that demo for that. Okay, so the red lens, what Canva Pay version has animations that you can add to your stream. So Canva will allow you to export in GIF format, but they do not have transparent GIF. They don't have the ability to create transparent GIFs. Most applications that I'm aware of that are free do not. Now, Kapwing is one that I have played around with a little bit that does let you export transparent GIF files where you would be able to create those animations, right? But you can absolutely design a GIF file in Canva. It's just not going to be transparent. So if you wanted it to be full screen, as long as it's 3 megabytes or less, then you can upload it into your StreamYard account, and that will actually be the solution for you. You can also do videos in Canva as well that you can play on your stream as well. So Wisco Ted says, I'm definitely going to make some Canva templates. Such a good idea. Yeah, totally helpful for everyone. I love how Canva makes it really easy for you to make a design and then share the design and then as a template, and then other people can actually copy that design into their own Canva account and then use it for their own stuff. So it's a great way to do a lot of really great things and share things with everybody. So, okay, let's see here. Can you do a video intro in Canva as a YouTube thumbnail? Charlie McGowan's Patrick Hill Station. So the thumbnail is going to be static. So if you want a video intro, you're going to have to do that directly inside of the YouTube platform. That's a video preview. But it is, as of right now, all of the thumbnails, when you schedule a live stream, it's going to be a static image. You can definitely design those in Canva. You can also design the video if you want in Canva as well. Canva's got a great video. They just changed it. They just added some awesome new editing features. You can do little transitions. You can actually put a voiceover in there. It's great. So definitely another really good opportunity for you to use Canva to create graphics for your actual stream. So, okay. Let's see here. I want to, so there you go. Silver Screen West. I create all my countdown timers in Kapwing. Kapwing is kind of like, I don't think a lot of people know about the application. I have not played around with it for a while. When I played around with it the last time, there were some bugs in it. It is kind of in a beta format, but it's very promising. I'm very excited about what could happen there with Kapwing when it comes to making graphics for your stream. So, okay, are you guys ready to move to the next one? Okay, wait, let me get my regular background back. I like it though. Maybe I should keep it. What do you guys think? I think I'll keep it. I'll keep it up there for this stream, right? And then I can take that banner off of there. Okay, so let's go back, or the ticking banner, I should say. All right, the next feature that I want to talk about is actually, let me check in on my comments real fast though. Okay, so West Ham Unofficial, I love the new solo layout option with the background showing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I love that we've got a lot of really positive feedback about this layout. Again, people have been asking for it for quite a while. And so, it's funny because I personally was like, oh, that would be cool, but I didn't think much of it. But then once I saw it, I was like, ooh, that really does open up the doors and opportunity for this other type of design, like I have shown you here. But people are very excited about it, and that makes me very happy. I certainly love it. I think it's just one of those fun things that it just shows you that they're dedicated to helping you make great streams. So I certainly wanted to do that, talk about that. Okay, so looking at questions, making sure I'm not missing anything. So Winter Fox, can we share mobile screen using PC to stream with StreamYard? You cannot share a mobile screen. That is, the sharing of the screen on a mobile device is not an option because of the device. But if you wanted to share on screen if you have an iPad and you want to show the iPad or show an app on the iPad, you can actually use a mirroring application like Reflector 4, which is a paid application that will actually display your iPad on your computer monitor. That would be the way that you'd have to do it. So that's just a quick answer to that question. Okay, let's see here. I am going to go to our next feature because it's awesome. This is literally probably my favorite latest feature. I've been really excited about this. I personally have asked for this. I asked this, I think it was probably a year and a half ago. I was like, it would be so cool if we could create a queue of special comments that we wanted to flag for later. This is really great for live Q&As. This is great for, if you have somebody helping you, assist you with your stream and maybe putting those things into a queue. Today, I am solo. I don't have anybody helping me today. So, that it is what it is. But whenever you have a lot of live viewers, the engagement can get pretty active and it can be a little bit difficult to keep up with the comments. In fact, it's something that I know personally that I have certainly struggled with, which is why I asked for this. And I know a lot of people asked for this feature request. So starred comments inside your StreamYard studio is actually available to all users. This will allow you to create a queue of comments. So pinning them or starring them, we are using a star icon. So we're calling them starred comments. So let me show you what this looks like. Here we go. So this is what the starred comments look like. Oh, let me take this banner down because I ran into that last time, didn't I? And I will show you what this looks like. So right here, starred comments. So this is actually the studio, right? If you go over to the comments section, you're going to notice the star. And all you need to do is select the star that's going to pin it. Now, what you're going to notice is once you start to create these starred comments, you're now going to have your live feed and then your starred comments tab. And so you can then go over to the starred comments. That's a great way to find those questions or those cute comments. You can display it. And then you can hide it, of course, from right there in that tab view. And then simply to take it out of the queue, you would just need to unselect the star. And then if you keep it, you can also go back and forth. So now I'm in the live comments. And then, of course, I can go back to the pinned comments. And that's how it works. I love how you can basically, like I said, the way that you would use this is, let's say comments are coming in and you're like, ooh, I want to save that. I want to save that. I want to save that. Because one of the things that's very difficult about live engagement is that sometimes, you don't want to ignore your audience, right? But you also don't want to over engage with the audience. And what I mean by that is, so as, for example, today, we're going to be going through a few of the latest features in StreamYard. As I'm talking about and explaining something, I don't want to be interrupting myself with your comments. So if I look at the live feed right now, I can see that there are some questions coming in that aren't related to today's topic. If I have a chance, I will try to get to them. But that can distract you. So sometimes using the pinned comments or starred comments is actually a really great way for you to stay on topic, as well as not interrupt yourself with the comment. So what I mean by that is I'm looking and I could say, I could be mid sentence, mid whatever. And the red lens says, so cool. This will be a huge game changer. Start comments. Yeah. So love it, red lens, but if you do that in the middle of your segment, we're going to call it a segment, it can actually be distracting and it can really take away from the points you're trying to make, the education the training you're doing. If I'm doing a tutorial and I keep looking at comments and reading them and displaying them in the middle of all my points, that can actually make it tricky. So being able to star them to save for later is a great way for you to be able to stay on task. Now, the other thing that I love about starred comments is you can have a friend, a peer, a teammate, maybe a virtual assistant help you backstage. They can actually be logged into your stream, either use one of your StreamYard team seats or give them your login information and let them enter the studio, stay backstage. They can be pinning these comments for you. And so that's actually one of the things that I think it really opens the opportunity up for live video hosts to get assistance in another level from their producers. I know that Jennifer, who is always in our comments, a lot of times she's so helpful in our community. She's a producer. She produces live streams for her company that she works for. She's backstage. She's not on camera. She's back there supporting. She's the one running the show. She's the one displaying the screen, clicking the slides to share, turning the banners on and off, displaying comments. She can now use this feature to create the queue, which is allowing her to organize the comments that she either wants to display or the questions that she wants the host to answer. And so it opens up the door not only for you, but also for you to get help. And that's what's really, really great. So some of you maybe are, you don't have 150 people watching your live video. You have 5 people watching your live video, or 10 or 20 or 50. And so the engagement is not as challenging for you to keep up with. But I still like this feature for you to create a way for you to say, ooh, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And then you're not having to scroll up through the comments to find that question again. It's highlighted. You can find it so easily. You can say, ooh, that's a good question. Like as you're kind of thinking through something. And then you literally can go find it really easily for a much more seamless experience, not only for yourself, keep your sanity, but also for your audience, right? And so I love this feature. I'm so excited about it. I absolutely love it. I have been waiting so long for it to come out. And here's the fringe benefit of it. If you are a Hopin user, so Hopin is the virtual conference platform, virtual event platform that is amazing. We use it for our summits. Hopin is an owner. They own StreamYard. They acquired StreamYard. They use the StreamYard technology right inside of that virtual event platform. So when you're hosting a summit of your own and you want to use something like Hopin to create these virtual events, the starred comments is key. It's key because I will tell you, as a virtual event host, and I'll be co-hosting our virtual summit with Dana again here on January 20th. Sometimes when we have our keynotes up or we have certain people, there are thousands of people watching these live videos, these virtual events. The comments are going crazy. It's very difficult to find a good comment to grab live. And that's something that's kind of one of those things. And so using the starred comments, even inside of that Hopin platform, is going to be fantastic. So again, fringe benefit. If you're a Hopin user, you also have starred comments now inside of that virtual event platform. So super excited about it. Okay. We keep getting questions. We keep getting the exact same question over and over and over again. And I'm going to address it. And people want to know if StreamYard's going to put out a mobile app. No, because it works on your mobile device. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that want to talk about mobile streaming today. But I will tell you, it's already there. You don't need an app. Just go to StreamYard.com on your mobile device and voila, you have StreamYard at your fingertips. So there is no need for an app. It's all good to go. It's good on tablets and it's good on phones. You will not be able to share a screen because that is, of course, a limitation of the mobile device. But you don't need an app. There won't be an app, not anytime soon, as far as I know, because it all works. It's mobile friendly. They have built this platform to be super friendly, but it also is mobily optimized. So you can use it on your mobile device. It's awesome. So definitely go for it. Geeks on Tour. Never say never. I will never say never, but I don't think it's anywhere in the current queue of stuff because it's not needed. But who knows? There may be a reason to have it one day, and it may happen. But as of right now, not going to happen soon. But there's a lot of people wanting to know about that today in our stream for some reason. But yeah, you're good to go. So you don't need the app. You can literally just go to StreamYard.com and you're all set. So go after it. Have fun with it. In fact, honestly, I'll tell you that if you have a really basic webcam, you might want to use StreamYard on your phone because the cameras on these mobile devices is amazing. So you're literally may even have an amazing, better experience, a better quality stream if you use your mobile device. So there's always that too. Okay, all right, let's keep moving because I want to make sure that we are doing this. So again, the whole starred comments thing is definitely a feature that I want everyone to think about how you can use it. But it kind of goes with Teams. So StreamYard Teams was something that we released last fall. And StreamYard Teams, everyone has one extra seat. So you can actually ask a friend, a peer, a production assistant, a business partner, a co-host. You can make them a team member in your account, and they will be able to star these comments for you as well, so that you can have a much more seamless stream as well with the comments. So certainly one of those things I wanted to bring up again is that the Teams feature allows you to maybe get that support backstage, like somebody like a Jennifer who is an amazing producer and is able to support her company with what she does for them. Some companies, they have teams set up to do it. Some of you might be solo producers like me, but this actually allows you to get that opportunity to get some assistance. Okay, let's keep moving. If you're just now joining us, we are talking about the latest features that StreamYard has released in the last couple of months. And I wanted to come on today and talk to you about them to make sure that you're aware of them, but also how to use them. And so we already talked about the cropped layout, which we're using today. I talked about designing a background with that in mind. And then, of course, we just went through starred comments. I just shared about starred comments. So the next feature that I want to share with you all is something that is also something that's been asked a lot. I'm going to actually change my background back to full layout because I want to make sure that we can showcase this. So I think that this is something that I want everyone to be careful about. I'm excited about this feature, but I also want everyone to be careful about this feature. So we now support virtual backgrounds. And so what is that? What does that mean? In your StreamYard Studio, when you go to your camera settings, actually, I meant to grab a screenshot of this to have this ready to go. So when you're in, let me point this. Let me just do a quick screen grab. I always like to smile during my screen grabs because it's awkward if you don't. Okay, so let me pull this over here. Okay, so now share my screen. Okay, this is when you go into your StreamYard Studio, you are going to see virtual backgrounds as an option. And so right here, this tab, you notice it right there. Okay, there's the tab, virtual backgrounds. So make sure you click on that. I think I can delete that. Yeah. So you want to be in there. And then literally, you're going to have this checkbox. This is important. You have a green screen. You're going to want to check that. You are going to get a much higher quality experience with your virtual background. You can then upload your own background if you want, or you can there's a couple of default backgrounds in the StreamYard Studio for you already, but you can also upload your own. So if you want to do fire, if you want to have, if you want to be in space, if you want to be in a different office setting, certainly consider it. And you can do that. And so now virtual backgrounds is supported. It used to be that you had to have a green screen in order to use virtual backgrounds, but now you do not. So virtual backgrounds are now actually available to everyone, regardless of you having a screen or a green screen or not. However, I am going to tell you that it does work best with a green screen. Now, green screens can be tricky. You want to have good lighting. Here's the way that I will tell you that this works. So let me go back to just me. Here's a couple things to think about if you're going to use the virtual background without a green screen. It is using artificial intelligence. What does that mean? It basically means that some really smart people who are able to do some really cool things with code figured out a way for the computer to figure out the difference between you and the background. That's let me just put it simply. Okay. It's kind of like the background remover in Canva. It is like magic. You literally click remove the background, and somehow it knows where you are and your earrings and your shoulders, and it removes everything else. It's amazing. It's actually fascinating to me. But it's artificial intelligence. It's basically using facial recognition and finding the face, finding the human, and removing everything else. So let's just take a look and see what this looks like. and exactly, yeah. I mean, I just want to make sure that like I'm just being honest here. Like I can't describe these things in total technical fashion, but I think I do a pretty good job of explaining it for all of us other non-technical people, right? So kind of one of those things. Okay, let's take a look at what this is going to look like. So let me go ahead and I'm going to turn on my virtual background now. I'm going to go through a few things here. So just bear with me. So first, we're going to try the flames. I uploaded flames. You're all going to see the bricks and you're all going to see this one in there. So, oh, hey, I'm in a living room, right? But look, do you notice all this craziness? It's not perfect. Again, it's going to work better in different environments. And so it does work, but it doesn't work great. This is also available in Zoom meetings. I think Google Meet has this, Microsoft Teams. And I'll be in a meeting and somebody will show up and they'll be in the virtual background. And I'm just like, is your office really that bad? I mean, it probably isn't. And a lot of times their regular background is going to look better. So here's the deal. Why would you want to use a virtual background? I want you to be very careful about using a virtual background because it can get a little gimmicky, right? Meaning it can create a little bit of a vibe from your audience. They're going to be like, what is she hiding? Right? Why doesn't she just use her background? So be cautious about using it to hide your environment. Honestly, I always tell people like maybe try to clean up the environment, maybe make the environment a little bit more conducive to work as a background for your live videos. Now, there are a lot of reasons why you might not be able to do that. That's totally fine. Consider using this. However, you are going to want to make sure that you are contrasting with your background because it is going to help the artificial intelligence work better. This artificial intelligence, the coding that we're using is probably going to improve over time, as they all have in many of the other applications. And so, but this is what we have for now. Now, the one I do like that works really well is the blurred background. So you're going to notice that I have a blurred background already. That is because I am using a $400 lens on a $750 camera. Okay. So there's a reason why this looks this good. It's not cheap, right? But maybe you're just using a basic webcam and you want to kind of blur the background. I do like the blurred background look. It actually helps you kind of stand out. And it does add that little extra kind of quality look for your stream. So you will notice that one of the options in your virtual backgrounds is background blur. So I'm going to turn that on right now. Okay. So you're not going to notice a huge change with mine because my background was honestly already blurry. But I actually wanted to try this. I've not tried it yet. So okay, let me turn it off actually. Virtual background, turn it off, go back to none. Oh, let me do the fire. I got to show this one. So remember when I said don't be too gimmicky and have like everything look fake behind you? I do kind of like virtual backgrounds that really just create something that you're trying to get at. Maybe you are so we have Smackdown Outdoors Doug. He has a podcast. They do stuff about fishing, ice fishing. He could upload a picture of a lake and he could have him just sitting here because that's kind of on brand, right? So again, I do support and do like virtual backgrounds when they're very different, meaning you're not just trying to make it look like your office looks cooler or your living room looks cooler or you're streaming from a cool kitchen. I like the idea of you using virtual backgrounds to actually create a very different and unique look and feel to your streams. But again, as you're going to notice here, my particular setup isn't overly friendly with the virtual background technology that we're using, but it does work better in different settings. So a green screen is going to be better for me as long as I have the proper lighting and all those things. We're not going to get into all that. Okay, let me turn it back off. Okay, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to change to my very cheapy Logitech 920. It's a really old webcam. This thing is, what is it today? Today it's 2022, which is unbelievable as that is. Literally, I think this webcam is like 5 years old. It's actually at least, no, it's older than that. I think it might be 6 years old. So here's the deal. You can buy these webcams, USB webcams on the market. They do tend to like diminish in quality over time. So the quality of mine is not good. So I actually wanted to see what this is going to do. So let me change my webcam to my Logitech 920. Whoa. How about that? Woo! It is awfully blue. I'm not going to mess with the camera settings because, quite frankly, we don't have time. But this is just a basic 920 old webcam that is not doing so great these days. It just simply is the quality is starting to go down, right? It's starting to go south. Let's see if we want to do some virtual background with this camera, right? So let's see how it looks. Because I know a lot of you are using just regular webcams. So let's give this a check. Now let's see what it looks like with the blurred background. Hey, that's quite an improvement, don't you think? So this is a great option for those of you that are using USB webcams and you want that blurred background, but you don't want to spend over $1,000 on your camera equipment and setup. You could just turn on the blurred background in your virtual camera settings. So in your virtual background settings, this is what the blurred background looks with the basic Logitech C920. I personally do think it is an improvement over what we were looking at before. So that's a great option for your virtual background. Let's go back and change it to, let's go with our flames again. Let's see if it's better. Hey, again, not going to be great. If you're moving around a lot, you may not want to look at one of these, static images as your virtual background. So something to kind of keep in mind, something to think about. Here's just a wood slat setting. Here's that brick setting that's in there. And then of course the blurred background, which I personally like. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now. So there it is off. And so now you see, all the pixelated goodness that we have, right? So kind of interesting. While I'm switching back, I'm going to check on y'all in the comments. So I'm going to switch back to my other camera. So there you go. So here's the other thing, and I'm curious. Yes. So Cynthia says from Purgatory Paranormal of New York, she's like, without a green screen, just don't move around a lot. That will minimize the bleed. She's right. It does. The artificial backgrounds using that artificial intelligence does tend to struggle if you move around a lot, which y'all saw. So it's one of those things you got to be careful about for sure. This is a good option. So I use a green screen, Ferocious Beard Company. I use a green screen / virtual background due to space limitations, plus to go with the theme of the beard oil I'm talking about. Fantastic. So yes, that is actually another example where some people need to use that virtual background because maybe they are literally streaming from a closet or they're streaming into like the corner of their bedroom and they literally have no room. They have a wall behind them and they want something more interesting. Another great option, but you are going to want to consider, again, for a lot of reasons, you're going to want to consider that green screen if you want to have a better quality picture behind you for now. Okay. Again, the code, the artificial intelligence could improve over time, probably will improve over time. But for right now, we've definitely got this going on with us. So something else I wanted to point out that I'm not sure, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that that's hilarious, Mike. That's a hot tip. Yeah, with the flames. I wanted to see if someone mentioned it because a lot of times, which is another thing that I love, is that our community and our people here are so good at helping each other. Something that you need to also consider with virtual backgrounds is that typically when you turn on that technology, when you turn that on, your browser is going to have to work harder. You're actually going to sometimes interfere with the quality of your stream. Now, you probably didn't experience that from my end. I have a very a nice computer. It's built for gaming, but I mean gaming computer. If you want to go buy a good streaming computer, just go shop for gaming computers because the specifications are almost the exact same. And you might get a fringe benefit of a cool LED light on your tower. But anyways, so I have a strong internet. I'm hardwired in. I have a very strong computer that can handle a lot of multitasking. So sometimes when we turn on that virtual background technology, it can interfere with the quality of our stream because of the bandwidth issues. So that's also something to think about. You can try it out, test it if you want, but definitely be cautious of it. Ferocious Beard Company says, what is the limit on virtual backgrounds? I think do you mean upload limit? I think that might be what you mean. I am honestly not sure what the answer to that. I feel like it was 20. I feel like I actually heard this question one time and I think Dan said 20. Maybe, maybe not. Let me look. I'm looking in our quick help guide. It doesn't say there. This is actually so this is also something I want to pull. I'm actually going to pull this up on my screen because this is actually awesome. So when you go to the virtual backgrounds section inside your StreamYard studio, you're going to see a little thing that says see our virtual background guide for tips. And that is going to take you to this page, which, by the way, our help center is awesome. There's so many articles in here, but it is going to talk about some things, some of those tips that we talked about that I already shared with you. And right here, it's saying use a powerful computer because that graphics processor is going to have to work harder, and that's going to it can cause an issue. So if you are using a basic computer that doesn't have a dedicated graphics card, then you may run into some issues. And then here it gives you some tips even to make sure Chrome is using the right settings to make that work even better. But it doesn't say it doesn't give me an information on how many. I want to say 20 Ferocious Beard Company, but heck, I don't know. Just go upload a bunch and see what happens and see when it limits you on that. So, okay. So let me see if I have any more questions about background and virtual backgrounds because Mike Phillips says the C920 is still a staple. I'll be tastic. My first video was made with the Logitech 920. The Logitech 920, you guys, I feel like goes right there with the Blue Yeti. It's right there with the Blue Yeti. It's almost at this point like, don't ever get rid of it. I still have mine. I have it because, quite frankly, sometimes I use it as my background camera. And honestly, sometimes I just have it as a backup. If I just need a better camera than what's built in on my laptop and I don't want to disable everything else, it's there. I have it if I need it, right? I am a firm believer that you should never get rid of these old cameras as you upgrade along because you never know when you're going to need it. Of course, as you saw, I just used it for a demo. So Ferocious Beard Company says, I have the Logitech Brio, which is the next model up from the 920. Yeah, I have the Brio as well. It's actually right up here as my background camera. The newer Logitech webcams, there's a Logitech Stream Cam that they came out with that is much better than the old 920, the 922. I think there's even a 929, 930. I would definitely, if you're looking at Logitech and you love Logitech, definitely look at that Logitech Stream Cam. Elgato has a face cam out there that's amazing now. So the webcams, the USB webcams have come a long way. J5 Create has good webcams. AverMedia even has good webcams. So a lot of good webcams out there. No reason to buy a 920 on eBay anymore for sure. So, okay. Let me see here. There you go. My webcam was $14 in 2019 and does the trick still 150 shows later. Well, there you go, right? So you don't have to have anything crazy expensive. You just use what you have, upgrade later if you want. So I'm happy to talk about this. Any news on background music? So if you guys have been watching and tuning into any of our shows, we've definitely been teasing about background music. It is certainly something that has been in our queue. The developers that made a decision that they want to try to make this happen. So from what I understand, it's still in the queue. It's still in the lineup. I don't know. I can't say when that's going to be coming. I definitely would say keep sticking around. Make sure you're tuned in to our town halls that are every Sunday night at 9:00 Eastern. So that's when Dan and Gage go on. They go live for about 30 minutes. And that is one of the best places for you to find out what's going on. Sometimes things do get announced outside of the town hall, but typically Dan and Gage will tease features. So in fact, the crop layout, that's the first place we saw the crops layout before it was even released to even me or even other people on the StreamYard team. So it's definitely one of the places to get your first glimpse and your first look and your first tease at what new features are coming. So make sure you're tuned into those. Those are multi-streamed on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, pretty much everywhere we're streaming today. So okay, let's go into our next feature because we're getting we've been going for a while now. I want to make sure that I am able to chat with you guys. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to share these two other items with you, and then I'll just answer some questions. I can answer whatever questions you want. I've got some time today. I can definitely stay on with you and do some live Q&A for sure. So, but if you are just now joining us, we are basically talking about all of the latest features, the very latest features that have been released with StreamYard in the last couple of months. So there were a lot of features released in the summer and in the fall. And Christian and I did a 3-hour stream and did a rundown of those features. So you can actually go find that over on the YouTube channel as well and check all those out. So, but these are a few of the new features that I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of, because it's hard to keep up sometimes, right? It's hard to keep up. And also, I want to make sure everybody knows literally, I want to make sure everybody knows how to leverage these and use them well. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. So, oh, can I get a quick rundown of what I missed? Essentially, I talked about the cropped solo layout, which I'll turn back on now that I am done talking about virtual backgrounds. So we talk, and you can obviously always go back and watch the replays to catch all of the things that you missed. But the first feature I talked about today was the cropped layout, which you're now seeing today, right now. And I showed you how to turn that on and how to turn it off. Then I also talked about starred comments, which is a new feature that came out last month that is amazing and is going to help you be organized in how you organize the comments that you want to display and don't display. And we talked about all that. And then I just showed virtual background. So it used to be you had to have a green screen if you wanted to use a virtual background in StreamYard. Now you actually do not have to have one. It will use artificial intelligence. It's not perfect. I gave you some pros and cons to that. And then I showed you the blurred background and how it can significantly improve the look of an old webcam or a basic USB webcam. So that's what you missed. That's what we talked about. Up next, then what I want to talk about next is actually something that many of you have been asking for a long time as well, and that is native slide sharing. So what is native slide sharing? So as many of you know, hopefully you all know, some of you maybe are still just brand new to going with live video and using StreamYard. You can share your screen on any plan that we have. Any plan, you can share your screen. I was sharing my screen earlier. It looks like this. It can also look like this. And it can also look like this. So the shared screen is actually something that's great for when you want to have presentation slides, or if you want to be sharing pictures or a tutorial over on a website. I was basically pulled up our help desk, our knowledge base over here. But you can also share video that was released early last year, actually. So you could actually share a video from your computer. You don't have to upload the video anymore. But what they just released is the third option for this, and that is slide sharing. And so what slide sharing is, before, if you wanted to share a PowerPoint, for example, you would open up the PowerPoint and you would go to share your screen. And when you went to share your screen, you would either select the whole screen, like maybe a second monitor, or you would select the application itself. It was a little bit challenging for people who are wanting to share slides. It was very challenging for people who were using one monitor, one computer, maybe on a laptop, not two monitors. Now, when you go down into this share screen area, you're going to see an option to share slides. And what that's going to let you do is it's going to let you upload slides directly into your StreamYard Studio, so you no longer have to deal with any of that. So if you are on one monitor, if you are on a laptop, this is definitely the way that you're going to want to be sharing those slides. Now, this is great for images. You can also share PDFs this way. We did a whole stream a while back on how to, sorry, I keep moving around because I usually am sitting higher, and for whatever, my chair is too low today. So I'm sitting on my foot right now, and I keep moving back and forth. Sorry about that. But we did a stream a while back on actually sharing images. And this was the first place, it was a few weeks ago. And I talked about using this feature to do image sharing. And so you can use it that way. So maybe you caught that show, but if not, let me just show you quickly what this feature looks like and how it works. So I'm going to play a video and to show you how this goes. So here we are in the studio. And as I mentioned, you're going to go to the bottom, share slides. You can upload from your computer. And you can also share Google Docs, like Google Slides. So this is an example of a PowerPoint file, and it's going to upload in. It's going to process, especially if it's a larger file, it might take a little bit longer. So again, I highly recommend you do this before your stream. And then when you add it to your stream, you can navigate between slides right there in your studio. Now, no one's going to see those little slide buttons that you see right there. So that's kind of key. You can also bounce around from slide to slide, as you notice where I went from slide 3 to slide 1. And again, all your layout options still apply, all the same. That's really not any different. I just realized I recorded that video a long time ago, but I literally am like in the exact same outfit. So it's like timeless. It's like I did it today. What I love about it though, is again, you can actually upload these slides before your show. You can close StreamYard and then come back. And guess what? Those slides are still there. They actually are saved. And I do believe that there will be up to 20 files you can maintain in that section. So you can actually do images, you can do presentations. What's important for you to know is you can only upload Google Slides, PowerPoints, and PDFs. Okay. So those are the only files currently supported in this slide sharing, native slide sharing. Now, if you are using Keynote or even Canva presentation, which Canva is a great tool to go create presentation slides, you just simply need to export them as a PDF and then you can upload them into your StreamYard studio. Now, there's something else that's really critical and important that you understand as well is that animations and transitions do not carry over. What basically happens here is, let's say you have a PowerPoint and maybe you have some, animated GIFs or even like text animations, like as you click through each bullet, if the bullets kind of present themselves one by one. That's really common in PowerPoint and in Keynote. That functionality does not carry over into this native slide sharing. Essentially, what's going to happen is it's actually going to convert that file to a frozen file. So a frozen PDF is really what it's converting to. So even if it's a PowerPoint file, if it's Google Slides with those animations, those will not carry through. So your slides will come through as static images. So if you have an animated GIF in one of those slides, it's going to look like a still image. So that's something that's really important that I want to make sure everybody understands. So if you want the animations, if you want the transitions, you'll need to do it the other way, which is simply sharing your screen and then having that PowerPoint up and ready to go. And you control the PowerPoint and you're just simply sharing the screen. So this is just another option for ease of use. Not everybody needs those animations. Not everybody wants to use it that way. This is actually fantastic, as I mentioned, because it is going to allow you to maybe do some prep work. If you are going to be doing a slideshow and that's all it's going to be, well, you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm live now. Now I need to go find that. I need to get that slideshow shared and add it to my screen. You can add it before you go live. You can have it right there and it's ready to go. The other thing that's awesome is that if you have a teammate, StreamYard Teams, they can actually access that file and control it for you as well. So again, just more production support with that file being native right there inside your studio. This is great for when you are going to be doing anything that is reoccurring. So some of the times, we upload images, like we had the image earlier when we want to make sure everybody knows about our upcoming summit. I can do this. It's an overlay, but something else that you might want to do is if you have reoccurring calls to action, reoccurring items, and you want to pull them up, but you could actually create a little deck inside your screen share as slides, and then they're right there and you can pull them up and then they'll show up like in the other layouts that I showed you earlier. So let me just do that really quick. I'm going to show you the ones I have. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Okay. I did the video a few weeks ago on images, and I had a bunch of videos or pictures of me fishing and boating and things like that. So that is actually still in there. So I'm going to display this. So as you can see here, this is me just simply sharing the slide. So if you want this view instead of this view, as I showed you earlier, then you could do this. You could say, hey, everybody, don't forget this. You could go to picture in picture. You could go to this layout. Hey, got a few announcements for y'all. Want to make sure everybody knows about all these new features. These are the old features that we released in the fall. Want to make sure everybody knows about these. So if you have reoccurring calls to action, you could actually make them into these slides, and then use them this way, and then go to this I love this news layout for these types of things. By the way, we call this news layout. I love it for these types of things, but it's an easy way for you to not have to like messy up your overlay section or whatever. And you just always have them in there. So again, another place for you to be adding graphics to your streams. Here's the other thing. You have to be on a paid plan to use those overlays. Everybody gets the slide share. Everybody gets it. You get slide sharing, you get native slide sharing, and you get native slide sharing, and you get native slide sharing, right? So everybody's got native slide sharing. So this is a workaround if you don't have a paid plan and you want to have those calls to action up as graphics. There you go. That's how you can do it. So I personally believe that the paid plans are totally worth every penny for all the customizations that you can do, all the branding you can do. all of it, I think it's totally worth it. But not everybody wants to pay for a paid plan. So, but you might still want to be able to share those calls to action, kind of like we do. Well, there's the way you can do it, my friend. So nice and easy peasy, right? So native slide sharing is available, and it's available to everyone. So that is so not Slims, no new features this week. No, not this week. Not this week. Nope. We are actually going through the old features that were just released in the last 2 months. So definitely wanted to give that clarification out there with our friend here that's joining us. Okay, let me check on y'all. Oh, Jennifer. She says this is her favorite new feature. I love it. What is your favorite new feature? It's certainly one of those things that I know that we've had so many new features. I mean, hotkeys, virtual background, video sharing, video embedding, the video library, StreamYard Teams. We have the starred comments now. We have the screen sharing. So many things. The picture-in-picture layout. I don't know how to pick what the best feature is, but I love that Jennifer says this is her favorite one. That's awesome. Probably because it helps her get set, get ready, and produce those streams much better for her people in the company that she's working for. Mel's Crisis Cross Streams. Why doesn't StreamYard work on Chrome? It does work on Chrome. In fact, I'm using Chrome right now. In fact, Chrome is what we recommend you use when you are using StreamYard. So I'm not sure where the confusion there is. Okay, let me see what else we have here. I want to make sure. I'm going to see if I have any comments about the slide sharing. Now, again, I did mention this, but I want to make sure it's because it's super important. It's super, super important that you all understand that as of right now, the slide sharing will work with PowerPoint, PDFs, and Google Slides. So if you're designing in Canva or Keynote, then just export them as PDFs and then they'll work just fine. You can also, if I'm not mistaken, you can also upload a Keynote. I think I'm not a Mac user, but I think you can upload a Keynote to Google, your Google Docs, and it will convert it to a Google slide. So that's also if you wanted to do it that way, and it will carry your animations over. The one thing I will say that sometimes gets a little wonky is that fonts. If you have custom fonts in your PowerPoints, meaning they're not regular standard fonts, they don't carry through always. They don't always carry through. Sometimes they get changed. They'll go to like a default font. So if you have custom fonts in your presentation, your PowerPoint presentation, for example, then again, you probably just want to export it as a PDF and then upload it as a PDF into StreamYard. And then it's going to freeze everything. It's going to basically freeze your fonts so that they will be supported and carried over into the SlideShare. So that's definitely another tip as well, is that you might find that your fonts don't carry over if you have custom fonts. So okay, I see a couple people saying they had some issues with Chrome. That could be a Chrome issue, but I'm using Chrome right now. So certainly, I'm certainly using that. That's actually what we recommend everyone use for it. If you're having issues, I would definitely email support@streamyard.com. Sometimes they can kind of get one-on-one with you and figure out what's going on. And we want to make sure that we take care of you. So shout out to our Brazilian customers. Well, hello, Luis. It's good to see you here. And we are very excited we are an international. We are continuing to become more and more international and supporting more and more languages. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, we are currently supporting German, Italian, obviously English, German, Italian, French, Thai, Portuguese, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Japanese right now, and more to come. Definitely working on more and more. So SmackDown Outdoors says hotkeys with the Stream Deck is his favorite new feature. That's pretty fun. Very excited about that. Definitely excited to hear that. So, okay, let me see what else we have here. I have two more things I want to mention to y'all. Fired Up says, is there any sort of update for Twitter comments getting fixed if they ever get fixed? So it's not a matter of them being fixed. It's actually a limitation with Twitter's API. They will not unlock that for us. So the way this works is StreamYard integrates with the social media platforms through API. It's basically when two technologies get to work together. Okay. That's the best way to put it. Now they work together, but sometimes some things get locked and they don't get to go back and forth. And so it's transmitting data. So we are actually able to stream out. So we're transmitting that way. The API doors are open so we can push out to those social media platforms. But the comments are coming back through API. So Facebook brings them back, LinkedIn brings them back, and YouTube brings them back, but Twitter does not bring them back. Neither do custom RTMP locations. And so that's actually a limitation on the Twitter API. As of right now, I don't have an update on that. That is again on the Twitter site. So it's not a matter of them being fixed. It's actually just a limitation. Twitter hasn't opened that up with their API. So that's kind of how that works, just to get a clarification on that one. Travel Grandma says, I'm a newbie and this info is helpful to me. Well, I'm super happy to hear that for sure. Robin says, not a new feature, but just the ease of use is my fave feature. I honestly agree. I think I absolutely love it. I definitely think that just the ease of use is one of the things I've always absolutely loved, for sure. Clint Catalan, I'm so sorry. I can't do my comments. I can't type in the comments. Well, your comment is coming through right here. So it is working. So I'm not sure what's up with that. So, okay. Let me see. Oh, yep. There you go. That could have been what it was. So, okay, let me I want to go back to some other comments I had really quick. Because I want to make sure okay, this is great. So Square Table Degenerates podcast. So earlier I talked about the cropped layout. Can you use cropped layouts on other streams, or can that be a feature request if it's not? So no, and I do not think this will change. And here's why. If you're a guest on someone else's stream, they should absolutely have control with the look and feel of their stream. And so they need to decide if they want cropped layout or not. And that is, I think, a great feature. Is you wouldn't want to give your guests too much control. It might be convenient. And in some cases, you would be like, I don't care what my guest does. But in most cases, you're going to want to make sure that the host of the show is able to make the decision about whether they want crop layouts or not. So right now, it is basically for the whole stream. So if I put my guest on screen right now and I have crop layouts selected like I do, then my guest would be cropped in as well. So that's really important to note, but it's a great question. I love that you asked that question actually, because it's a really good question. And I'm sure a lot of people have that question. Okay. So let me talk about something else. Now, something else that's not as recent, but is also an item that I just happened to notice one day. When you go to share your screen, if you share a tab, a Chrome tab, you are now I'm going to do this and share a screenshot for y'all so you can see what I'm talking about. Whoops. I don't want that. Do a screenshot. Okay, here we go. So let me make that full size. When I actually share a Chrome tab, sorry guys, there we go. Pull it up. There, sorry, too many things to click. Okay, so what we're talking about here is this right here. So when you go to share your screen, it's automatically going to say entire screen. But if you were wanting to share a Chrome tab, this is new. This Chrome tab preview, which is actually super helpful. This is not a StreamYard update. This is actually a Chrome update. But I wanted to point it out because it's actually something that I didn't even know. I just happened to notice it. So I really honestly don't even know when Chrome made this change. This is really helpful when you do have more than one tab open with from the same like Canva, for example. When I have Canva open, if I have multiple tabs open, it just says Canva. It doesn't tell me which tab is which. And so you can actually select through each tab and it will show you the preview. So you can make sure that you share the correct tab. So a really helpful item there that I personally am pretty happy about that they did. But again, not a StreamYard update, but just something that I thought was worth making sure everybody knew about, because I don't even know when it happened. Maybe somebody else knows when that happened, but I just was like, well, that's nice to know. I'm certainly happy that happened. So okay, let's talk about, let's get your questions. I'm going to start putting some questions in the queue. If you have questions for me, put a queue in front of it. I've got some time to hang out with you and answer some questions for y'all. The only other thing that I was going to mention to you that's not really a new feature, but I still feel like a lot of people are not totally aware or realize how to use it. And that is the picture-in-picture layout. And so the picture-in-picture layout is actually it is Sorry, I'm doing another screen grab. It's actually at the bottom of your studio. And so the picture in picture layout is going to give you another layout option. It's available to everyone. And so people will say, can you do a demo on that? Can you do a tutorial on how you did that? I can. It's a matter of clicking. So you share your screen. So I'm going to share my screen. And this is what it normally looks like by default. The layout that you are seeing right now is the regular layout, this one right here. Okay. That one right there is the layout you are seeing. However, if you want the picture in picture layout, which looks like this, where I am now down here, but my screen share just went to the whole screen and I am now overlaid on the bottom left-hand corner. If you want to use that layout, it's this button right here. So all you have to do is select it when you have your screen shared. And so that's available to everyone. So that's the picture in picture layout. Now there are some pros and cons to this layout. You can't move. You currently right now you are going to be in the lower left-hand corner and that's how it's going to stay. I have got to get that picture of myself off there. You'll be in the lower corner. You can't change that. And so, as of right now, you can't customize where you show up. So if that lower left-hand corner needs to be on screen and you're covering something up, you need to keep that in mind. The other thing is that it does get a little crowded. And so if you need your screen share to be the full screen, then you don't want to use that picture in picture layout. People asked for this because they didn't want the background to be shown. They also just wanted to be able to have full screen as much as possible so that it's as big as possible for their audience and they were still visible on screen with their audience. So definitely a feature request that was coming for a long time. And we finally got it and it's there and you now can use it. On our YouTube channel, we also have a tutorial video on how to use that layout as well. So definitely check that out. Okay, I'm going to get some questions in the queue. And these are good questions. Put a Q in front of that question for me. I want to make sure that I am able to hang out. Wow. I'm in Indiana. So I'm in the United States. I'm in Indiana and it is like really windy here, like crazy windy. So, um, I'm getting your questions. I'm queuing them. I'm using starred comments, which is of course one of those awesome new features that I talked about earlier. Mike says he loves the picture in picture. Yes, picture in picture is actually pretty cool. It gives you another great thing. Split Rock 323 says picture in picture is a great effect. Awesome. Yes. So back to the slide share we talked about earlier. Right now, it only supports PowerPoint, Google Slides, and PDFs. So if you are using Keynote or a different application, then just export it to PDF and you should be good to go. It will work just fine. And you should all be able to export to PDF. Okay, let me turn off my cropped layout. I'm going to go full screen with y'all, hang out with you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go back to our other background though, and I am going to turn it back on. You know why I like the cropped layout, especially when I'm doing what I'm about to do, is when I bring those comments up on screen, it really lets me display your comment and it's not gonna come up so high where it covers my face. So I certainly like that about it for sure. So all right, I'm in starred comments. Okay. Boy, you guys are bringing me some questions. I love it. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay. The cropped layout would be great for the two-person screen. So the two-person screen, so there's two options for your two-person screen. And right now, the second option is definitely do you have two layout options? Let me actually just demo this. Let me demo this. We got this. Hold on, I got to mute my speaker. I'm actually I want to get clarification from you, Doug, on what you're looking for there. So, I'm going to add another camera to our broadcast. We're going to add the crappy little Logitech 920 because we can. And I'm going to turn on my virtual background. I'm going to go blur. I'm going to mute my mic on this one. And I'm going to pick an inactive speaker. All right. There we go. Okay. So going back to my main thing here. so here are your options. You have the full screen option. And I think what he's talking about is it would be nice to have that crop layout with this view. But the other option you have that is going to give you a cropped layout is, of course, this particular layout right here. So certainly a good feature. What I would do on this one, Doug, is I would submit this as a feature request, but be really specific what you're asking, because it could kind of be interpreted a couple ways. He says, yes, the full screen. So I think he wants this. He wants an option to be cropped, have that cropped layout with this particular. I do find that a lot of people like this view, and I think it's because they like the way the faces are larger. I personally don't love this view, but I do think it would be interesting to have another layout with that. So I would definitely feature that or submit that as a feature request, Doug. I think that's worth submitting for sure. So, okay, let me see here. Speaking of feature requests, I'm not able to kind of like handle feature requests, but I mean, if there's a question related to what we're talking about and it's not, then of course I'm going to tell you to go submit it. Right. So, but I can't tell you when certain things are coming or all those things too. So yeah. So Square Table says the same thing. I like the close-up view for one-on-one interviews. It works better for thumbnails too. Yeah. Okay. Good to know for sure. Okay. Let me take this out of here. Bye-bye. All right. So I'm back. All right. So here we go. I'm going up to my queued comments that I have, and I'm just going to go up. So some of these are older. So if you're still watching, hopefully you're still hanging out. I'm going to go rapid fire on these and answer some questions for y'all. Do virtual backgrounds count against the total number of allowable uploads per brand? No. So, if you are on a paid plan, you can upload overlays, you can upload videos, and you can upload logos, and you can upload backgrounds. Each one of those categories has a limitation of its own. The same goes for your backgrounds. It's not total. It's not like in your StreamYard account you have 50 uploads. So use them wisely amongst your, videos, backgrounds, whatever. Each category has a limitation. Again, I don't know what the limitation is for the virtual backgrounds though. I feel like I heard it was 20, but I might be getting that confused with the slide share, but I'm not sure. Mike wants to know about dark mode. I know that this has been requested a lot. I also have been told that they have. I remember hearing Dan say on one of the town halls that they were beta testing this actually. But that was quite a while ago. So I know it's been requested. I do believe that it is in the queue. They absolutely want to make it work. There's two reasons why dark mode's great. Well, there's really three. One, it can be easier on the eyes. Two, for those with glasses, like Mike is saying, it is not going to create as much glare. And then three, what you might notice, let me see if I can do it here. Watch my face. Okay. Watch my face right now. The lighting is going to change. It just changed because I minimized my screen and my actual screen itself is darker, right? So the bright white studio itself actually will create more light on your face. And so a lot of people don't want that. They want to be able to control their lighting because when they move something around, it changes and they don't want that. And so that is another reason why dark mode's been requested by people, is that they don't like that it adds all that extra light to their face because they have their studio light set up and it's dialed in and they don't want that. So great question. I don't have an answer on it, but definitely one of those things. Mantis Lou, I think Matthew, I believe is this person. He says, could you touch on the use of an overlay? It covers up the presenter if used that way. So overlays do need to be used carefully. I am a fan of transparent overlays so that you can have things come up around, but it really is just a matter of preference. So an overlay can be full screen or it can be part of the screen. You will want to design it as the screen. So if you're in Canva, if you're using Canva, for example, or Photoshop, Photopea is a free solution out there. Kapwing is a great solution as well. Easel is also another solution. And then the other one is Adobe Spark. As long as you can design a graphic, you're going to want to design it the full image at 920 by 1080. You can decide where you put the images and then the overlay. One of the tips I have for you, if you want to make sure you don't cover up your presenter, is to take a screenshot of the view of you or the presenter and then upload that into your design application and design around that layout, that look of the person. Because, hey, some people are streaming and they're like this. And then some people I watch stream, they're way cropped in. They're like real close up in their streams. it's all a matter of preference about how you like the look and feel. So you need to design around your own custom look. And so take a screenshot, design your overlays around the presenter so it doesn't cover them up. But the other thing to keep in mind is that sometimes full screens are good to do. It's a good way for you to get a break from being on screen and then, just to kind of have a change of pace. And so, for example, I like to pull these up sometimes to just give myself a quick break of camera so I can rest my eyes. I can take a look at the comments. Don't have to worry about making sure I'm looking right into the camera lens. So having a full overlay can actually be a nice break for yourself, to be honest with you. And it just changes things up. So, I might say, hey, if you're just now joining us, welcome to the Ask StreamYard show. I'm your host, Melanie Dyann Howe, and we're going to have some fun today. I mean, whatever. So it's up to you on how you want to do that. So great question. Hopefully that was helpful for you, Matthew. Okay. When slide sharing with multiple guests, will they still be on screen when a slide is up? So that depends on the layout you have selected. So back to my very silly screen share, because that's still there. If you have this layout selected, which is this one right here. Okay. So this is this particular layout that you're seeing right now. If you have that one selected, all of your guests will be on screen. They will show up over here in this column. I don't know if all the guests are going to be on screen. I'm going to back up on that one because honestly, I've never seen this with like 10 guests on screen. Maybe one of you guys know, but I don't know how many slots there are. I want to say it might be limited to a smaller number. You can have, if you're on the pro plan, you can have up to 10 people on screen. That's a lot of people. I actually have never seen a stream. I've never seen one with that many people on screen with StreamYard. I've seen people stream using Zoom and things like that, but I've never seen it. So I don't actually know what that layout looks like. That's a good question. I actually need to see if we have a document or something somewhere that shows all the different options that we have for those layouts and what it actually looks like. But back to to answer your question, if you have that particular layout, you will see your guests. You will see multiple guests on screen. Picture in picture will also show multiple guests on screen. So this is picture in picture. Your guests will literally be down at the bottom of the screen. So they will, like where I am right here, there will be a guest that will show up right here. Okay. Second guest will come here. Your third guest will go here. And that it makes everybody gets smaller and smaller as you have more guests. But certainly that's the layout you'd want. If you go to this layout right here, okay, we call this the newscaster layout right here. If you go to this layout, which looks like this, you will have one person on screen. If you have 3 people in your stream, you're only going to have, they might notice that I just had to put this on. I have a messed up pinky and I take it off when I type and it's starting to hurt. So I need to put it back on. There you go. It's like a scavenger hunt. Who can spot what just changed? Okay, back to it. That's an example of what not to do. Don't interrupt yourself when you're streaming and talking. This is the newscaster layout. If you have this particular layout, only one person's going to be on screen. So they need to be in what we call position number 1. And so this is the exact same if you're sharing slides. Slide sharing, screen sharing, and video sharing all use the exact same layouts. So it's all the same. So this is the only one where you're only going to have one person on screen. So you need to make sure they are in position number 1. The way to do that, this is what's a little tricky, is you need to be in, let me just do this really fast. You need to be in a guest mode. Oh gosh, I guess I could show it to you, but you need to be in one of these modes. Have everybody on screen and you need to drag them around. Why don't I just do what I did earlier, join the stream again. I'll make it look like 2 guests on screen. I'll do this again because I think it's actually really hard to describe, but I think it's going to be a lot better to show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to pick my Logitech 920 once again and a inactive microphone and an inactive speaker so that we don't have echo. And I'm going to enter. Okay, so I'm going to put two people on screen. So now there's 2 of us. So here you are. You have 2 guests over here. That's what that layout looks like. Picture in picture. As you saw, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to put everybody at the bottom, and then full screen, nobody on screen, and then news layout. Oh, it's me. Now, if I want to change my person, here's what I have to do. I actually have to change the position. So the nice camera, okay, the Black Magic, this one, hi, that I have my finger in front of, not the Black Magic, that's the switcher. That's position number 1 right now. If I want my guest, which is my Logitech 920, to be in position number 1, I just simply am going to drag it. You're going to hold your mouse, you're going to click on that person, and you're going to drag them over, and it's going to switch positions. And then when I go back to that news layout, look who's on screen now. So that all works the same with your screen share, your slide sharing. So no different there, all the same when it comes to that. Okay, so good question. Let me keep going. I said I was going to do rapid fire, didn't I? Cynthia wants to know, have you had any issues with lag on StreamYard when using OBS virtual camera? Personally, I have not. I do see people talk about it. Here's what I do. I don't use the audio output from OBS. I don't have that plugin set up. I am using OBS. I'm not today, but sometimes I will use OBS and I will turn on the virtual camera, and then I open StreamYard, and for my webcam, I select OBS virtual camera, but my audio, I select my microphone directly. I do not select anything I'm not doing anything like that. I personally have not had lag. So I do hear that some people do. So it could have something to do with the cables you're using. You want to make sure you're using great cables for all your equipment so that you're not experiencing lag. Also, sometimes there is sometimes lag, and sometimes it is actually on the platform itself. So there will be sometimes where Facebook will have lag, but my YouTube stream will not. So it sometimes is an issue on the platform. And what she means by lag is it means the audio isn't in sync with your lips. The other thing I notice is that sometimes there will be lag when you watch live, but then when you watch the replay, there is no lag. So all that stuff, internet connection, all those things play a factor. I personally have not had issues with lag for my OBS, but that's how I have it set up when I do it that way. Paul Davis says, using StreamYard, uploading a presentation and sharing through Google Meet. Using StreamYard, uploading presentation and sharing through Google Meet. Okay, so as of right now, you wouldn't be able to, you can do this if you set up a custom RTMP, the Google Meet being the destination. I think Google Meet supports that. Basically what that's going to do is you would use custom RTMP, set up your meeting as your destination. Again, I can't confirm. I've never done it with Google Meet. I know it works with Microsoft Teams and others, so I assume it would. And then you can basically use StreamYard to basically push into Google Meet, which means you would use all those same features. You just have to be able to have a custom RTMP destination on the other side. The limitation is you are not going to see any chat comments or any of that inside your StreamYard studio because, again, custom RTMP does not feed the chat comments back right now in the way StreamYard's set up. Association Soma Twamaya, I hope I got that right, says, when are we going to be able to send live to Instagram? Probably, I don't think that Instagram is going to do that. So this is a limitation on the API of Instagram. They don't allow third-party applications to create streams on Instagram. They want you using your mobile phone. That's how they want that experience to be. So nobody can actually do this. And if there are some applications out there promoting that they can, it's actually against their policy and terms. So you really can't use a third-party tool to stream to Instagram. And that, again, is an Instagram stream or Instagram limitation that they've chosen. Julia says, will the blurred background work on guests? Yes. So your guest can also go in and use the virtual background tool as well. So they can have a green screen. They will have that blurred background option as well now. So your guests will be able to do the same. Great question. Any plans? Oh, I already answered that one. Town Talk Podcast. Any tips for using 2 or more microphones in the same room for multiple guests? Ooh, this is a really tricky aspect. So you can have people in the same room. So what Town Talk is talking about is they are doing a live video. they are also doing a podcast, but they are actually in the same studio, in the same room. A lot of people will do their podcast interviews virtually, but a lot of people actually have studios set up and they want to live stream a podcast, but they're actually in the same room together. Honestly, I'm not an audio person. I'm not an audio engineer, kind of, just a limitation in my area. I would suggest that you have everybody wearing microphones and you have pretty good quality microphones as well that are not going to pick up a lot of background. The other thing you're going to want to do, which hopefully you don't mind anyway, is you're going to want to have the podcast microphone as close as possible to your mouth and turn the gain down as low as possible as well, because your gain is going to record all that background volume. You also want to make sure you have the right kind of microphone that's not going to pull in a lot of background noise or low frequency. And so there are a lot of settings and ways to do it. You certainly see people do it all the time. A lot of it's going to come down to your actual equipment. And so if you're using just basic stuff like Blue Yeti microphones, you're probably going to end up recording each other and there's going to be an echo. So I would highly recommend headphones for sure, high quality microphones, maybe even a virtual mixer or a audio mixer, and then 100%. You definitely want to make sure that mic is as close as possible. So it's probably going to be in the shot, meaning in the video, and you want to turn the gain down as much as possible as well. But there are definitely ways to do it for sure. Why can't we delete or block a comment from a Facebook profile? You can. In fact, right in your studio, you see 3 dots. You can absolutely select the 3 dots and it will let you delete a comment, block a comment. You might be limited. Facebook groups, sometimes the API is a little bit limited there. So that might be where you're asking. And again, that's an API limitation from Facebook for sure. Jennifer says, if another admin/team member stars a question or comment, does it appear in the starred comment section for all admins logged in or just the one who starred it? If it's admins, I believe it will show up for anyone who is set up as a host, anyone who is set up to be able to see and control comments. So if you have a guest on your screen or on your stream, they can see the comments, but they can't control the comments, meaning they can't display them. They can't do anything. If you are using StreamYard Teams and they are set up as an admin or co-host, they can display comments. Any of those roles, they should be able to see the starred comments as well. In fact, I'd be shocked if it didn't work this way. I'm almost positive that this was one of the major reasons why the starred comments came out right after Teams, because they kind of went together. And so I do believe that your teammate will, as long as they have the right permission, they will be able to see they will be able to see that. So they should. So I would definitely give it a test, give it a try just to give it a check, but they should be able to, as long as they have the right permissions. Good question though. When do you add the cropped layouts? Renee, I'm going to have you definitely, everybody has cropped layouts now, just in case that's what you're asking. Definitely go back and watch the replay. The first feature I talked about was actually the crop layouts, and I did a whole rundown on best practices, when to use it, maybe when not to use it, some things to think about and consider as well. Laura says, how do you queue live comments for the live stream rather than scrolling back to look for them? So Laura, same thing. I did a total demo on the starred comments in here. And so definitely make sure you check the replay. Did a full demo on that. We also have a demo for starred comments on our YouTube channel. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and you'll see that tutorial as well, which will give you a full blown tutorial on how to use that feature. Okay. I have been in my queued comments for a while. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get caught up again and check out all the latest comments. So I was in this queued comments, which is one of the reasons why I was kind of trying to go rapid fire, because I wanted to be able to, get through those and then come back to your live comments as well. So I know you all have so many great things. For all this stuff. And I think some of the questions that you guys are asking, I think I definitely talked about for sure. So Radio Dawn Network, are these new features available for mobile streamers? I can't find them on my mobile. So I will say that sometimes the limitations with mobile, there are some different menus in the mobile, but the slide sharing is not going to be on mobile. I mean, you're not going to be able to upload a PowerPoint on your mobile device. You just can't. It's not the way that the technology works. I Screen sharing doesn't work on mobile, and neither will slide sharing. So screen sharing, video sharing, and slide sharing will not work on a mobile device. So that is the major area that I know for a fact does not work. I believe virtual background works, and I believe, uh, gosh, starred comments is a great one. I haven't tested that one. I believe that starred comments also works on mobile as well. But if you're not seeing it, then it could just be the limitation of those menu settings. Cropped layout is a setting. So you have to be in your settings menu to be able to change that. If that menu is not there, that would be the limitation of that as well, for sure. Ooh, this is a great place for that blurred background is if you have a reflection in the background. So sometimes people will have like pictures and behind them and their lights will reflect off of it. The blurred background is going to help that. So that's a great area where you might want to use that feature for sure. Okay, I think I am in the right spot of my comments. I could have interviewed myself. That would be awkward. I mean, nobody needs that, right? That's funny. Um, I do like to sometimes pull that extra mode up, my extra face up, so I can do the demos on the guesting. But it is weird. I need to do it with a different camera, or maybe at least a different angle, because it's a lot of mel up there. I mean, it really is. Maybe I should set up a puddles cam. What if I did it that way? If I set up a puddles cam and had a camera on puddles, that could be cool. And if you don't know who Puddles is, if you don't know who Puddles is our little StreamYard mascot. That's who Puddles is. I need to set up a Puddles cam. Okay, let me I'm keep checking in. Can you do picture in picture with a guest full screen with the host on the bottom? You picture in picture is going to not let you can't so picture in picture is always going to have you on screen with your guest. If you don't want somebody to show, okay, there it is. If you don't want one of them to show up, then you have to remove them from the stream, which is going to remove their audio from the stream as well. The only other way around that is to basically, they'd have to turn off their camera, or you'd have to turn off your camera. So, like such. Stop. Oh, it's going to stop my mic. Oh, it's because I'm avatar. Okay, hold on. I'm actually curious there's got to be a couple ways we can do this. Audio avatars. We don't want audio avatars. Oh, stop cam. There we go. So I just stopped my camera, meaning the main camera, this one, right? So I stopped it. I can only stop my own camera. So if you just want your guest on in the picture in picture, but you want to talk, then you would want to stop your camera. So at the bottom, you're going to notice that as one of your settings options is to stop the camera. And so when you stop the camera, as long as you don't have audio avatars enabled, then you just basically go off screen, but you can still talk. So that's how that works. So that's what you'd want to do if that's what you're looking for as far as those extra options there. See, the second camera came in handy again, didn't it? Luis says, my only big problem is the hair. When I use chroma key, it gets goosebumps and there's no comb to solve it. What can you suggest? That's a good question. So I know that sometimes I have the same issue when I do a background removal in Canva. Sometimes my hair, the tips of the spikes, will be a little fuzzier than I prefer them to be. I do believe you just want to make sure it's a lighting issue, probably. So Luis, I have what's called a hair light up above me, and that shines on me, and it actually lights up the top of my head. You can see the shadow from it right there. That actually is going to help create more contrast, most likely. So my guess is it's a lighting issue. So you might try putting a light up above you somehow. I literally am using just like the cheapest light ever. So look at this thing. That is like a little LED light that's like clamps onto a desk, and that is clamped onto the top of my bookshelf, and that's my hair light. Like, and it's got a sock. It's got a little footy over it because it was a little too harsh of a light. And so that's what I did. That's my fancy hair light because I like to get scrappy around here. And everybody that knows me knows that I like to get scrappy. So it's probably a lighting issue, most likely, is what I'm guessing. Gary says, can the small picture-in-picture be oval instead of square? We've been asked this before. As of right now, it's only going to be a square layout. It's certainly possible that in the future, that'll be a settings issue where you would be able to change a setting and say, I want it to be a circle versus a square. I wouldn't be shocked if that comes out. I don't know if it is or not, but that's definitely not the way it works right now. Certainly could be something that could happen in the future. Brian says, is showing multiple overlays at the same time a possibility in the future? Showing multiple overlays at the same time. As of right now, it's not possible. As far as in the future, maybe. I mean, it's certainly a feature request. I would definitely go over to StreamYard.com/contact and provide your information there about why you want that and how you would use it. It could be a possibility. I have not heard anything about it being in the queue at all though. So, for sure. The red lens. I assume I should begin to use my Canon HD camera as my primary one now versus my webcam. It will probably cure my bleach look since I'm very pale. So here's the way it works. USB webcams, you plug them in your computer and they are going to work just like that. If you want to use a DSLR camera, like a Sony or a Canon M50 or whatever, you have to, let me back up. Some cameras coming out on the market now will plug into your computer and can be used as a webcam out of the box. Okay. The Sony ZV-E10, which is actually the camera I'm using right now, will do that. You have to have a setting turned on to be in streaming mode. It is going to reduce the resolution, I believe, to 720. And so it's not going to give you full HD. It's actually going to just be 720. And so there are sometimes limitations. There are some other cameras that will work the same way. However, if you have like a Canon M50 or something like that, actually, I think Sony, Panasonic, and Canon, and I believe Fuji now all have what are called webcam utility applications. So for your Canon, you can go to the Canon website or just Google search like Canon webcam utility, and you will select the model of your Canon and download the software. It's a background application. So it's not like an application you click on and it opens and you do anything. You literally just install it and it's like a plugin on your computer. Once you have that set up, you actually can plug your camera into your computer using that USB cable. You might have to use an HDMI micro out to HDMI or to USB cable in. If you do that directly on your computer, you will be able, as long as you have that webcam utility application, you can use that Canon as a webcam. Again, same thing. It's actually going to limit your resolution. You're not going to stream at 1080. I did this. Gosh, it's been over a year ago now. I think I got my Sony camera actually right around this time last year, now that I think about it. I used to use my Canon M50, and that's exactly how I used it. And it was a much better camera. It was much better quality than any of my Logitech cameras. And so you can. So if you want to use a DSLR camera or mirrorless camera, you just have to have that way for your camera to interface with your computer. The other method that you can use. Where is that thing? Well, I thought I had it in here. I don't know where it is. You can use a capture card. I thought I had one. A capture card like the Elgato Camlink capture card. There are other ones out there, of course, as well. This is basically a device that's either going to be installed inside of your PC or it's going to plug into your computer in a USB port. Your camera cable, you're using HDMI, will go right into the back of it. And then it will actually create that interface. That is how you're going to get the best quality for your camera. However, with a capture card, your DSLR mirrorless camera has to have what's called clean HDMI. So clean HDMI means you're going to get a picture just like this and not all those weird camera settings. So, like when you have your camera and you're on the back of it and you have like the settings and it's showing you like focus and menu and certain things. If you don't have clean HDMI, which the Canon M50 does not, those will show up if you use a capture card. And so some cameras will allow you to turn that off, that display off. Others will not. So that's the limitation when you're using a capture card. It is going to give you the best quality. I know that somebody asked earlier what I was using. I am actually using a Blackmagic A10 Mini. So I actually have two cameras hooked into this, and I'm able to switch between those cameras just like that with a click of a button because I'm doing that. So I can also change the transition to make it a little slower so that you can actually see that. And so there's a lot of ways you can do it, but I certainly would recommend you do it. It's definitely going to be an upgrade into your stream. Again, you just have to kind of think about the things I talked about. So you have to make sure you have the right camera, the right application installed, or the right capture card for sure. Dale says the lava lamp is alive. Yeah, it takes forever. It has to get warmed up, but you're right. It is alive and well. If I back up, it might put it in focus. A little bit, not a lot, not a lot, not a lot. Okay. What I think I have time for a few more questions. So let me jump in here and see what I've got. I've got a couple other questions. If you have if you have issues or any like major support issues, definitely send an email to support@streamyard.com. They will be able to take care of you and help you out over there for sure. So let me see. Charlie McGowan, Patrick Hill, Charlie McGowan's Patrick Hill Station. How do you do inactive speaker? Inactive speaker, inactive. Oh, so what I was talking about earlier when I was pulling up multiple cameras. So here's the trick. Most people, okay, they have a setup. They have a computer. They have probably one microphone plugged into their computer and they have a webcam. That webcam might have a microphone built into it. May have a microphone right here. An inactive speaker is going to, you also might have speakers plugged into your computer too, right? Or if you're using a laptop, you have a speaker on your laptop. When you add that second camera, like I did with this little thing we did here, right? This person, this camera right here with the finger, okay? That I have that microphone muted, but then as you know in StreamYard, you have to select a speaker for you to hear. So if I didn't select either a muted speaker or an inactive speaker on my system would be this microphone that I don't have any headphones plugged into because it has a headphone jack and I don't have headphones plugged into it. So literally it's outputting to something that's not outputting any audio. And the reason for this is because if I had a speaker active for this camera, guess what? When I talk, the audio coming from this feed would echo into this one because of the speaker. So there's not a setting for an inactive speaker. I actually would love for StreamYard to create that. I don't know if that's in the queue or not, but you just need to either have headphones plugged in that are cut off, or if you have speakers, I just mute it. As long as you're not like introducing any other audio, meaning like with a guest, you don't actually need any audio. You just need to talk to your audience. So you could use a second camera as a background camera. So, as I was talking earlier, there's my Blackmagic A10 Mini. Both my cameras feed into there. There's the Sony ZV-E10 and there is the Sony A6100. There's my new Peloton that I got about a week and a half ago. Super excited about it. And there's my Elgato lights. I got one facing towards me and one reflecting off the wall. As I said earlier, there is that, you can actually set up a background cam. And then in StreamYard down here, I can actually change the layout if I wanted to. So I can actually make it go to this and then I can switch it. I can put my background camera right there. So we get this a lot. This request has come up a lot. You can absolutely set this up. I have StreamYard literally going in 2 browsers. So browser number 1 is where I'm set up with my Blackmagic. Browser number 2 is where I entered the stream with my Logitech camera. But as I mentioned, I had to make sure that my microphone is muted right here. And then my speaker that I have selected, let me go back in here, camera mic. There we go. We're making this happen. Audio. I had to make sure that I'm using an inactive speaker. My Elgato Wave 3 microphone is plugged in, but I have no headphones plugged into it. So that's what I did there. I also picked an inactive microphone. There's no microphone actually coming out of my Blackmagic. So I don't even need to mute that. But that's what I meant by that. That's what I was talking about. So that's a great question. Let me get back to reality here because that's kind of hard to do that way that I just did that. So hopefully I didn't make everybody dizzy. But that's the trick. That's one of the things that you do. I did the same and had terrible lag. We'll try it again. Okay, Cynthia, yeah, definitely keep trying. Would love to know if we can get you figured out on that one for the OBS stuff. And Mike is reminding us that the power of your computer is important when you're using OBS. He's right. You definitely have to have a strong computer to use OBS virtual camera. It may cause a lag if your computer can't process fast enough. So that could be the problem as well. Not sure though. Jewelry, etc. Can you picture in picture from one device? Example, from a PC with 2 camera inputs. Um, no. The only view you have would be the view that looks like this. That's not picture in picture though. So, that's just one of the layout views. It's not actually a picture in picture. There is not a picture in picture with a second camera or guest, meaning like this camera would be full screen right here. And then my little Sony camera would be overlaid. That's not a current layout right now, but that's a good question. At first I wasn't sure of the question. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything like status check for StreamYard service? Like any other media services have global outage and they have status check page for their services running smoothly. You know what? That's a great suggestion. As of right now, I do not believe I am on the wrong camera. As of right now, I do not believe that is an option or a setting. But that's a great suggestion. I think that you should submit that where I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure we don't. Where we typically announce these things would be Twitter, as well as on our Facebook page, especially in our Facebook group. We will actually sometimes put things out if there's an issue. Sometimes we will actually send an email out as well. But typically, the best place to catch those things would be on our Twitter page, as well as our Facebook page or in our Facebook group. But that is a great question, and that's a good suggestion. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So earlier, the person who was asking about podcasting using StreamYard, creating the live video, but also doing a podcast with both hosts in the room at the same time. Doug at SmackDown Outdoors is reminding us that you need a dynamic XLR microphone. That is what I couldn't remember if it was dynamic or condenser. I always get those mixed up. I'm using a dynamic XLR microphone right now. That's not going to pull, like earlier when I said, can you hear the dogs? And you guys were like, can't hear the dogs. Some microphones are going to pull in background noises more than others. Again, as I mentioned, turn your gain down as much as possible. But yeah, thank you for that. I missed that comment earlier when I was talking about that. So if you want that, you want to be able to be in the room with another host and not have your mics pick each other's voices up, then you would want to use a dynamic XLR microphone, and you would need an interface for sure. So, and Michael J is telling us that just need an audio interface with 2 or more inputs. Technically, you would not, Michael, if they were using 2 different computers. They could actually just input directly in to each one, but you still have to have an interface for each one. XLR microphones do not plug directly into your computer. You have to have an interface like a Rodecaster or a Scarlett, a Focusrite Scarlett, or even an Elgato Wave XLR. So, but yeah. Okay. Do we have a couple more questions? I think I have time for a couple more questions. I feel like I saw some questions, and I'm probably not going to have enough time to get to all of them. But Jonas V says, can guests see starred comments as they can see regular comment feed? I do not believe your guests can see the queued comment. I do not believe so, but I have not actually been a guest with starred comments yet. I don't think they can. I think they just see the regular comment feed. So, but that's interesting. I'm gonna have to test that one. I don't know for certain. I think not, but I definitely need to check on that one for sure. Oh yeah. So Laura, you're good. I saw that you had asked the question, but we also, again, I mentioned earlier that we do have our YouTube channel. So if you guys have not checked out our YouTube channel, I definitely want to make sure you are checking that out, subscribing to it, because there are tutorials being uploaded over there all the time. And there's a tutorial for starred comments. There's a tutorial for the picture in picture, and then more coming out as well. So that's the best place to make sure you stick with it all. I feel like I want to get at least one more. Question here. This is really funny. So Charlie McGowan's Patrick Hill Station, he says, the light on your left over here. Keeps changing. What is that? That is natural light shining through my front door. So I have a door that has a window in the top, and then there's actually a window above it. And when it's cloudy out, like it was earlier, it doesn't change. But when the sun is kind of pulsating or doing anything, that light actually changes. Sometimes it gets really bright. It's pretty bright right now. It looks like the sun's trying to come out. So that's actually what that is over there. So it's not necessarily a light that keeps changing. It's just my natural light that keeps changing. But yeah, that's funny. I've had people ask me that before. They're like, what's going on back there? Okay, let's see. I want to get at least one more question in here. Let me just scroll down. See what's going on. Oh, I just found some more questions. I might have to do a few more. Avery Shannon, can I do a record only with a guest? Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, you can. And a lot of people use the StreamYard record only feature with guests to record podcasts. So it's funny because the StreamYard audio that gets exported is so much better than Zoom and Skype. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It is so much better. So if you want good, high quality audio, I would actually recommend you use StreamYard to record your podcast episodes with your guests than Zoom or Skype. In fact, my dear friend Crystal Profit, who is also, she's a podcasting specialist and podcasting coach. She's created some videos for us over here on the StreamYard channel as well. She's tested multiple, and she's like, StreamYard's audio quality is great. So it's definitely better than Zoom and better than Skype. So you can absolutely do record only with your guests for sure. And I would suggest if you do that, that you make sure you go into your settings and make sure you have separate audio tracks being exported in case your guest audio is kind of low and you want to change it all up. So Anthony is here. What's up, Griffo Productions? Good to see you. Okay. So Anthony, go back and watch actually the beginning of today's stream. So the reason why I'm smaller is because I'm using the brand new crop solo with wallpaper layout, which basically makes you smaller and will bring your background through. But we did a full demo on all that earlier, and it's super, super, super good. So, okay. All right, my friends, here's what I have ready. I gotta be ready to move on. Listen, as I mentioned, we are live every single week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. But next week, I'm actually going to be speaking at the Live Streaming Pros Expand Your Reach Summit. In fact, I'm going to be speaking at that event, and a couple other of our StreamYard partners. Roberto Blake is going to be there. D. Niman's going to be there. Rob Basalas, I can never say his last name. He's going to be there as well. Those are some of our other fellow StreamYard partners that are also going to be speaking at the event. And StreamYard is a sponsor for that event. You can learn more about that tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to have Luria Petrucci from Live Streaming Pros. She's going to talk about her 5 predictions for 2022. So that is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time. So you will see us again, me as well, but Luria is going to be coming on the show and talking about her big predictions for 2022 with live video. And I got to tell you, I bet there's a couple that you're not thinking of. And so Luria is an amazing professional. She's been doing live video since way before many of us were. And she is with Live Streaming Pros, and she's going to be coming and talking about that tomorrow. And you will be able to learn more about the summit that they're putting on and that we are speaking at, and that StreamYard is sponsoring tomorrow after that stream. So definitely tune in. Definitely make sure you're checking that out. You can actually, that stream is scheduled, so you can go click on Get Notified and make sure that you join us live. Again, that's at 12 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. I definitely want to see some of my familiar faces and names in the feed tomorrow for that stream. It's going to be a really good one. I'm excited to have Luria over on the show as our special guest. And then, as I mentioned, also, we have our StreamYard Connect Summit coming up. I'm so excited to be co-hosting this event again with Dana Bentz. And it is January 20th at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And you can register for that. It's a free event. This one is totally free. Just go to StreamYard.com/SY Connect, and you will find where you can register for that. You will get the emails, and then that way you can join in, do some networking, get some awesome tips. We're going to have Sean Cannell from Think Media and his team as our keynote speakers, and some other speakers as well. Super, super excited about that one. And then, as I mentioned, next week I'll be at that event. So special guest next week for our Ask StreamYard show is actually going to be Desiree Martinez. Julie Riley will be here hosting that show, next week's Ask StreamYard show with Desiree. They're going to be talking about creating a content strategy for 2022. So really excited to have them on the show covering for me next Wednesday at 11 a.m. So with that being said, everybody, I got to say thank you for being here. This was a lot of fun. We talked about some of the newest features that StreamYard has released. We talked about the crop solo layout, which you're seeing active right now. We talked about the virtual background. You no longer have to have a green screen to have a virtual background. We also talked about the native slide sharing that is now inside of StreamYard. You don't have to share your screen. You can actually upload your slides directly into the StreamYard studio and use that. And then, of course, we also talked about starred comments, which is one of my favorite of new features that's been released lately for sure. So super fun. Always love being with you guys. This was a great time. We went extra long today because there was just so many things to talk about. If you have something that you want me to cover on this show, then I want you to actually go over to our Facebook group, join the Facebook group. If you're not already in there, Facebook, just find StreamYard Community on Facebook, join it. And then I want you to post your question and use the hashtag Ask StreamYard. And if I find your question and I think it's juicy enough that I can take a deep dive with it, we're going to actually feature you on this show, your question, answer it, take a deep dive, and we're going to send you one of these t-shirts. These are super cozy t-shirts. I absolutely love them. In fact, I feel like I've been wearing them all the time lately. I have a few of them, and my daughter keeps stealing one of them, and it's funny because it's like, okay, but they are so soft and so comfortable. So definitely, if you want to be featured on the show, just use that hashtag Ask StreamYard, and we just might pick your question to feature on the show. So, all right, everybody. Well, until next time, I will see y'all later. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for our show with Loria, and of course, get registered for our StreamYard Connect show. And we'll see you in another stream coming up. See you guys later. Bye-bye.